Welcome everybody. My name is Richard Silver. I'm with the Silver Burtnick and Associates team at Sotheby's International Realty Canada, and I have in my Zoom room today Alan Carson, who is one of the principals in Carson, Dunlop and Associates. I won't tell you how many years I've known Alan, but he was a pioneer in building inspections, really. And so welcome to our little conversation, Alan. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Richard. Good to be here.
Okay, so I see you are hunkered down at home.
Absolutely.
Okay, and just can I ask you, how are things going in your own personal life? You're managing okay? Everything's fine with the living, with social distancing?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're being very conservative. Carson Dunlop is 42 years old, and I'm a little older than that. So I also have a wife with a compromised immune system.
Yeah.
We are very sensitive. We've got 3 of my 5 kids living in the house with us, so there's 6 of us all together, and it has worked out very well so far. Some adjustments, needless to say, and but yeah, it's a privilege to actually be able to just to stay at home and be with family. So
I know we don't get a lot of that. Most of the time we're run off our feet.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, building inspections in the days of coronavirus, what's happening with Carson Dunlop?
Well, what's happening with Carson Dunlop is probably different than with lots of home inspectors. We have 16 inspectors out in the field, and as of last Wednesday, we made the very difficult decision to suspend our home inspection services for the time being. And I wish I knew what the time being meant. But I was concerned about the health of my team, concerned about the health of our clients, our real estate partners, and the public at large. So it may be erring on the side of caution, but I've seen around the world what happens when people aren't cautious. So we've never been through this before, and so I don't know what it's going to look like in the wisdom of hindsight, whether this was a mistake or not. But it was an agonizing decision, but one that we felt we had to make.
I think everybody has to take responsibility for their own decisions. Certainly I'm not going out and meeting with clients. I'm doing everything as I can virtually. And I'm trying, even if I have a new property that I want to show, we're doing it just myself going out to the property, taking all the precautions. My new best friend is Lysol. And, it's rubber gloves in the car. And but I'm trying as much as possible to be able to be there for my clients, because whether we like it or not, there's food, clothing, and shelter, and we're involved with the shelter. So, the government of Ontario has stated that we are an essential service, be that as it may. I just think everybody has to take the precautions that they're most comfortable with. There's so much information out there right now. It's just mind-boggling.
Absolutely. And to your point about being virtual, we're exploring an option of doing a virtual consultation. It's probably not fair to call it a home inspection.
Yeah.
But our inspection manager has come up with a protocol, and the idea would be a consultation with the home inspector on one side of the screen and someone in the house on the other, being directed to go to different areas and allow the inspector to check out the home to the extent possible. So it'll be less than perfect, but it's an interesting experiment, and these are unusual times, so unusual measures.
Yeah, I think I always say that this is the new abnormal.
Yes.
And it's I think that's a great idea, and I think that would be wonderful if if there's somebody in the house, whether it's the seller or in a case of a vacant property. I have a couple of properties that are now vacant, and I can go there on behalf of the buyer, and I can do the walkthrough and consult with the member of your team. So I'll try as soon as you've got that up and running. I will post that as information so that they can connect with you. But I think,
right.
I think that's the way to go. I know that a lot of the condominium buildings have got very strong protocols on entry and exit, and I think I know that we have very strong protocols as well. So as long as people, I think, are taking responsibility and looking after things, I think we can transact business. It's always going to be a little bit slower and more time consuming, and so in your crystal ball, what do you think the future is going to be of just who knows, but we don't know the
Well,
time.
well, yeah, I think I'm kind of hoping for the best and preparing for the worst a little bit, but I, I've seen some other countries that seem to do very well and bounce back quickly. And part of my rationale and the decision to shut down our home inspection operation was um, in part to perhaps lead by example and make other people stop and think. But if we can shut this thing down more quickly, if we can follow the guidelines from the medical advisors, maybe we can get in front of this thing and shorten the whole thing. People talk about flattening the curve. I'd like to flatten the curve, but I'd also like to shorten it. I'd also
Yeah,
like to, and I'm hearing interesting things about blood tests to be able to find out if people have had the virus and have antibodies, and then can move around freely and not worry
right.
about infecting others or being infected. I think there's so many people around the world working on this that
Yeah,
we'll come up with some brilliant solutions because of the species we are, sooner rather than later. So I'm
yeah.
hoping weeks, not months, but the crystal ball's a little fuzzy.
Well, I hope you get back into it in some fashion, because the problem with when you have one of the leaders of the industry uh, not doing building inspections is you're always going to have somebody who should probably not be doing building inspections. You always have somebody, if there is a need, will find some way to circumvent and fulfill that need. And it may be not people who are not properly trained. So I really hope as soon as you can, let me know when things are back, or when you've got the virtual consultations up and running, because that would be a great boon to let everybody know about. And
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I'd be delighted to do that, and I feel a responsibility, and I feel I've let down the real estate community a little bit by pulling back. And as I say, we agonized over the decision, but I hope it turns out to be the right one. But I hope it's a very short one. So yeah, we'll explore. We're working hard on piloting the virtual consultation. So I'll let you know as soon as we have anything on that feels right.
That would be great to know. And when you do, just let me know. I'll bring you back on. You can tell us all about it and maybe give us a bit of an example of how it works. Because, as I said, you have always been one of the leaders in the industry as far as building inspection is concerned. And I really appreciate the time that you made for us today. And thank you again, Alan Carson from Carson Dunlop. And I will have all the contact information for you, for the people who are watching this, in the next little, in the article. All right. Thanks again, Alan. I really appreciate it, and stay safe.
All righty. You too, Richard. Thanks very much. Be well.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.